What's up guys, it's Luna King Kaiju, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we will be ranking all of the King Kong movies. I said in a post, like a week or two ago now, as of recording this, I don't know when this is gonna come out, but as of recording this, that I was gonna be ranking all the King Kong movies and the Gamera movies, as well as the designs of all the characters, and eventually I'll do a design ranking and a movie ranking for Godzilla as well. But I'm currently rewatching the franchise as we speak, so that won't be for a while, because I want to reevaluate my thoughts on every entry in the franchise, and then we'll get to that. But today, we'll be ranking all the Big Monkey movies, so yeah, we have all of them here. I have thrown a few oddballs in, like The Mighty Kong, Kong King of Atlantis, and Kong Return to the Jungle. I know everything else, like, they're the ones that I consider, like, proper, like, King Kong movies, because, like, he's in the public domain. There's, like, hundreds of movies probably out there of King Kong now that are technically King Kong movies, but these are the ones that I considered actual, like, King Kong movies. But I decided to throw in three oddballs in there just to spice it up. Also, before we begin, I would also like to say I am going to be ranking the movies based on how they are as King Kong movies, and you might say, well, duh. But, I'm saying that because King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire are here, and if I was ranking them in a general movie tier list or a Godzilla tier list, the ranking I will have by the end of this video will be very different to the one I would actually give to any of those rankings, like a general movie ranking or a Godzilla ranking. But since this is a King Kong ranking, the crossover movies with Godzilla will be ranked based on how they are as King Kong movies, not Godzilla movies, so keep that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, I think we should begin. So, obviously, original King Kong, I'm honestly gonna say A tier. Like, it's awesome. It's really good for its time. Effects are great. The stop motion's incredible. But it does have some flaws, and it is, like, King Kong's the granddaddy of all kaiju. It's pretty much the first of the biggest kaiju characters to ever come out. One of the first kaiju movies of all time, probably the first. And I don't know why the poster on the tier list thing is so weird, but you know, original King Kong, it's awesome. I love it. But, like, yeah, probably somewhere in A tier, which I'd say is pretty good. But yeah, Monkey Go Burr. And Son of Kong. Now, Son of Kong, I'm gonna put at the top of D tier, because, listen, Kiko was cool. Kiko was probably the coolest part about this movie, and I like that there's continuity. There's direct continuity between returning characters and returning plot threads from the first movie, and I like that they treat it like a proper sequel. I hate it when movies don't do that when they could have, and when it would work. I feel like it definitely worked in the favor of Son of Kong to be a direct sequel to King Kong. And I'd say it worked out well in that department. But overall, it is a bit of a step down from the original. I say a bit, but, like, look at this drop. But, you know, it's okay. I didn't really hate the movie, but, like, it's alright, you know. But, you know, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Now, this movie, I'm gonna put this in A tier as well. So essentially, actually, I'm gonna put it here. Controversial, I know, but I'm putting King Kong vs. Godzilla here. Honestly, I really liked what this movie did, because this is, like, the first time both Godzilla and King Kong were in color. Like, this is their first color movie, and it's also, funny enough, both of their third movies. But those two fun facts aside, I really like what this movie does to King Kong, aside from most of the design. The design, we can agree, is it exists. But that aside, I do like how they decided to, like, throw in a bit of Godzilla's thing where you change up the character to fit any plot you want. King Kong is literally, like, what, a 50 meter tall ape? No, 50 meters is generous. No, not even. Kong's like, what, 20 meters tall? Traditionally? In lore accurate original King Kong. Um, and then they had to scale him up to fight Godzilla, make him a big ass gorilla. Gave him electric powers. I love that. Overall, I really like the reinvention of the character they had for this movie. And although they probably could have given Kong his own origin movie before introducing him to Godzilla in the Showa era with this movie, I like the way that they did handle Kong's origin in this movie, because as much as it is a versus movie, this is still King Kong's first appearance in the Showa Godzilla universe, to where, yeah, they had to set him up properly. So they went to Skull Island, they did all the tribe stuff, they came back, they brought Kong, except this time there's also a giant 50-foot lizard running around that Kong has to fight. And I like how they tried to do the Empire State Building scene with that one building. It was cool, with bringing King Kong elements in. And I loved how well King Kong vs. Godzilla has one of the best clashes between franchises I've seen. They perfectly blend all of the Godzilla elements in with the King Kong elements and make them clash perfectly. It's awesome. I genuinely love it. And yeah. Oh, yeah. There's more I could talk about regarding King Kong vs. Godzilla, but that's more Godzilla-centric, so I'll save that for the Godzilla tier list. Coming soon, eventually. But yes, King Kong Escapes. Now, I'm putting this in B tier. King Kong Escapes, the follow-up to King Kong vs. Godzilla. It's got a few inconsistencies because the movie says things that implies that it's not canon to anything, even though it is canon to the Showa era, but it isn't at the same time. It's got Gorosaurus from Destroy All Monsters. It's a bit of a mixed bag, and I remember watching this and going, what the hell is happening? But even saying that, I think I had a good enough time to wait. I definitely back putting it behind the B tier spot. And Mechanai Kong, please, whenever they figure out what the rights thing is with Mechanai Kong, I would love to see him return in a King Kong movie somewhere down the line. Monsterverse, maybe, who knows? But Mechanai Kong, it's Mechani Kong. Yeah, no, bring back Mechani Kong, bring back Gorosaurus. I think Gorosaurus was a cool replacement for the traditional, T-Rex that was in the original King Kong. And of course, if you watch Destroy All Monsters, you'll know that Gorosaurus gets a bit of an expansion of not just being a big dinosaur. He's Godzilla's ally in that friend, and he helps take down King Ghidorah. So, I enjoyed Kong a lot in this movie. I would say he's a bit of a downgrade from what they did in King Kong vs. Godzilla, with the only upgrade being his actual design was better in this movie. That aside, this movie could have been a little bit better, but I enjoy it for what it is. And I like the duel, the scene where I think King Kong and Mechani Kong are climbing the tower, Tokyo Tower. I think that's what they were climbing in the third act of the movie. I like that. I really want to see more of Kong climbing a building in the third act of a movie with another Kong-like creature that he's fighting against climbing on the other side. That's cool. I like that. And I'm kind of upset that that's really the only time it's happened the way it's done here, at least. I know we get close enough things later on, but I just really appreciate King Kong Escapes for that, at least. And yeah, B tier. This King Kong movie, what was it, 76, I think? I will put 76, actually, in... Nope, not there. A tier. Right here. So it's currently leading. So let's see. King Kong... Yeah, it is 76, alright. Yeah, well, I actually prefer the reinvention of the characters they did here, and the story. I love it. I actually... Again, another hot take along with King Kong vs. Godzilla. I think it is better than the original. I just like the way that they handled, the twist on everything. The human characters being frames of what they are in the original, but their own thing entirely. Love that. And, well, Kong, given more character, I love the use of suitmation in something that isn't a Japanese movie. I really enjoyed the suitmation, actually, to be quite honest. Like, it was really nice, really well done. And, overall, this is a solid take on King Kong as a character and reinventing the original movie. But yes. King Kong lives, though. King Kong lives. Oh, actually, I take this back. I had a second thought. I'm putting this here. But King Kong lives. I kind of got lives and 76 mixed up. I was meant to put lives here and then 76 here, but I messed them up. But yeah, no. King Kong 76 will stay here. King Kong vs. Godzilla is a little better. But yes, King Kong Lives. I think King Kong Lives is severely underrated. This movie is genuinely pretty cool. The suitmation is even better in this movie, and I love the incorporation of more Kongs. Love that. And I really wish, at the time at least, they expanded on that more, gave this timeline like King Kong 76, King Kong Lives, and I wish they gave it a third movie. I heard there was a third movie in the works, but honestly, I'm not too sure myself. But, King Kong Lives, amazing. The female Kong and the dynamic they have, what's it, Queen? Is it Queen Kong? Am I going nuts? Lady Kong. Okay, I just looked it up. Yep. So, Lady Kong, I'd say she was pretty cool. She really helped grow King Kong's dynamic, if I had to say. And, like, the whole mechanical heart that they gave him to keep him alive after the events of the last movie. Honestly, really cool idea. I love the whole plot thread regarding the mechanical heart he has. And him having a son, great. Love it. Amazing. Just everything about King Kong Lives just generally makes me really happy. Like, it's just a fun time, And a great way to take the character, if I'm being honest, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, now we have the first of the oddballs, The Mighty Kong. This is a animated movie that I heard was like an animated musical reimagining of the original King Kong. But honestly, I'd put it in D tier because it's like, it was okay. Like, this is a good introduction for kids to King Kong. But like, aside from that, I don't know. Like, King Kong literally like survives the fall at the end of the movie, and I like that cool twist. And, well, some of the musical numbers were, I guess, okay, but they weren't it. But it's just kind of a bit of a mixed bag, if you ask me. Mighty Kong could have been a little better, but I thought it was okay, yeah. Nothing much to really say about this, I'd say. But yeah, no. Kong, King of Atlantis. I'm putting this in C tier, mainly because, I was a fan of the show this is connected to growing up. I love the Kong animated series with the blue Kong and the dude who can switch, like, combine into Kong and, like, control him, and that was cool. I loved that show as a kid. I obsessed with it. And this is the first thing I've seen from the show in pretty much over a decade. And yeah, Kong King of Atlantis, although I felt like I was missing things, like a lot of it I felt like I had to have seen the show beforehand, because it's been a while, I don't remember much. It was still a fun enough time that, like, made me go, haha, that's cool. That makes no sense, but you know what? I like that. I said that a lot, and for that, I'll give it a pass, and I'll put it in C, because it was a great time. And you could still get the dynamic of all of the characters despite, without the show's context, I'd hope, at least, blah. I do plan on eventually rewatching this show, though, at some point down the line, so we'll get to that. Now, King Kong 2005, first of the S tiers. Easily the best, well, we'll get to that, but I think easily out of all of the remakes of the original King Kong movie, all of the direct remakes of the movie, this is the best one. Easily. Peter Jackson's King Kong does everything you could do right for a King Kong reboot. That's like adapting the source material exactly. It takes what's presented in the original King Kong, and it does it better, like, times 1,000. Like, this is just a more fleshed out story, because I think the 3-hour runtime is completely justified for this movie. It takes its time, and it dedicates each hour of the movie to setting up one thing from each major element of the story of the original King Kong, because we got the beginning, we got the Skull Island segment, and we've got the final act, the final entire segment in New York City. I think the runtime really helped let Peter Jackson flesh out everything there was to tell in the original King Kong, and Kong as a character is just so much more likable and so much more of an actual character in this movie. And Anne Darrow, she was really good as well. And, just overall, everything about this movie literally peak cinema. If you have not seen anything on King Kong yet, or if you've seen, like, very little of him, and you want to check out what King Kong's originally like, away from the big lizard crossover movies, I would say definitely check out 2005. It's the best introduction to Solo Kong, I'd say. And yeah, overall, peak movie. Absolutely love it. And now we're gonna do a hard right. We're gonna take a hard left, a hard right, whichever one you want to do, and go to Kong: Return to the Jungle, which I'm easily gonna put in. Yeah, this one just sucks balls. It takes what was this, like the show of that Kong King of Atlantis was from, and does a 3D flip. Now, I know at some point I stopped watching the show as a kid, but at what point did they turn from 2D animation, which was perfectly fine, it looked incredible, to whatever the hell this is? What is this 3D slop? I don't get it at all. And, I was just incredibly upset with this movie. It's just, why does this exist? Is really all I gotta say. I just really don't like it. Maybe when I get around to rewatching the Kong animated series, I will attempt to stomach whatever this is, like, wherever it came from, if the 3D CG blended into other seasons, because I guess I'll sit through it and I'll give this a rewatch, but right now, this is genuinely one of the worst movies I have ever seen. I really don't like this movie. It's just not it. Everything is better than this. But let's move on from Return to the Jungle. Anyway, Kong Skull Island. Now, very, very hot take, right? Not there. S tier in front of King Kong 2005. Now, hear me out on this one. Hear me out. Kong and this storyline may not be as fleshed out as King Kong 2005. It may not be to that level, but hear me out on this. King Kong has, up until this point, aside from the one crossover he's had with Godzilla and the one follow-up which was like, okay, but a lot of people didn't even know these two movies happened, like King Kong vs. Godzilla and King Kong Escapes. Up until this point, people knew King Kong as the tragic monkey who fell in love, the beast who fell in love, and ultimately died to a bunch of airplanes off of the Empire State Building. That was really what most people knew him as. Like, he was an icon, he was amazing, everyone loved him, but he wasn't much more than just big gorilla who fell in love with blonde woman and then died falling off the Empire State Building after fighting planes and getting shot, right? Kong Skull Island did, in a better way, what I think King Kong vs. Godzilla and Escapes was trying to do, where they evolved his character. Like, not on in the movie they evolved his character, but like outside, as a franchise holding character, they evolved King Kong. Kong in this movie has probably the most character he's had as of 2017 when this movie dropped. Like, I'd say arguably a little more than '05. And honestly, keeping him alive and making him the hero of the story rather than the, the tragic protagonist, antagonist character, like, keeping him alive and making him the genuine hero of the story was the best call to make. And letting him have a genuinely well done and well written victory was really awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, tying him into a world with the biggest and most popular giant lizard monster ever was probably another good call, honestly. Because King Kong, on the outside, if you just started with base King Kong, you'd be like, how is this character able to tie into something like Godzilla? Well, you reinvent the character. You reinvent the wheel, and you get something like Kong Skull Island. Like, these older movies try... Oh, sorry about that. I had a hiccup or something. But yeah, these older movies tried, but like, I'd say... Yeah, no, Kong Skull Island really hit it out of the park, and they really did an amazing job. And just everything about this movie was awesome. I loved it. And honestly, I grew to love it even more over time. I just have a really strong appreciation for it. But yeah, no, Kong Skull Island, peak. Thank you for making Kong what he is now. But yeah, anyway. Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, as a King Kong movie, honestly, A tier. Because... okay, say Kong Skull Island didn't come out, right? And it was just in the MonsterVerse, Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then immediately Godzilla vs. Kong, and they did the thing with that King Kong vs. Godzilla does, where no origin movie for Kong, they just throw him into a crossover. If that happened, and Kong Skull Island didn't exist, honestly, Godzilla vs. Kong might, in terms of being a King Kong movie, just, I don't know, low A, maybe B. But because it had Kong Skull Island to set up Kong as an actual character, it greatly enhanced versus Kong, like, as an extent. Like, as a bonus feature, I'd say. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong is definitely more of a Kong movie, but it's justified. Godzilla had 2 solo movies prior to the crossover movie. Kong had 1. But I think even with that considered, the Kong-centric approach for this movie just, in general, worked better with what they were trying to do with, like, Godzilla, making him the antagonist. Kong being, the hero of the story, worked very well, continuing off of Kong Skull Island. I just love that. And honestly, I think this movie does a really good job at, after introducing Kong into a world where he doesn't have to be the tragic death character at the end, the tragic beast, then moving him into a world of other monsters like him, and then seeing how he handles a world like that was genuinely very cool to see. I think Godzilla vs. Kong does a excellent job at that, and it's the perfect segue point for Kong to probably enter the MonsterVerse and just heck, kaiju fighting movies in general. And now, GXK, Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. Alright, hold on. Not there. Now, hot take. 3rd place in S tier. Why is this? Because it takes what Godzilla vs. Kong did, and with the whole introducing Kong to a world he's never been in before. Like, the type of world he's never been in before. A world full of other monsters like himself. And they really expanded of it. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong took a step in the right direction after Kong Skull Island laid the foundation, right? GXK, in terms of being a King Kong movie, of evolving Kong as a character, may not have done it as much as Kong Skull Island, but it really did evolve the character. In terms of, a proper introduction to a world of monsters. Godzilla x Kong is everything Kong should absolutely be. He's evolving from that tragic character into a character that now has his own mythology, his own villains, his own allies, his own family, all by the end of the movie. That's why I think even though GXK could have been much better, and absolutely, definitely could have been much better as a Godzilla movie, as a King Kong movie, genuinely, it's one of the best there is, in my opinion. It really nailed Kong as a character and a storyline. And everything in this movie was all in support of Kong, and it worked well in regards to that specifically. With what they were going for there, it worked. Absolutely, it worked. But GXK, excellent King Kong movie. Love it. But yeah, that's everything. That's all the King Kong movies, and that's my ranking. So let me know in the comment section. Do you guys agree with this ranking? Do you not agree? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite? Mine's easily this one. I hate this one so much. But I genuinely can't wait to do my next King Kong tier list, which is the design tier list. I want to rank all of Kong's designs over the years. I'll probably incorporate more of the non-movie stuff, just to make it a little bit more fun. And after that, I'm planning on doing a Gamera franchise tier list, as well as the Gamera design tier list. And after that, we'll eventually head to Godzilla, after I finish my rewatch of the entire franchise, that is. But until then, thank you guys for watching. This has been my King Kong tier list. I will probably, put a picture up of it, at the end of the video. But, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And see you all in the next one. Peace.